Right, good day watchers, welcome to another Totally Flawed movie review tonight. Tonight I've been watching a really interesting movie, a slasher, kind of a slasher movie. Kind of. And it's a film called Luther the Geek. Because when I did my last review, like a while, no, not the last review, my update collection, I forgot to put the geek at the end. It's called Luther the Geek. So, on this film, oh wow, I'll get to it in a bit. Where I was like, oh my god. The girl in it, I'm just like, wow. I've seen her before actually. She was on a film. I'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, okay. As a child, the sight of chickens has been ripped from its body by the jaws of a carnivore geek was a life-changing experience for Luther Watts. Decades later, the following and grown up and deeply disturbed Luther's Edward Terror incarnation, the bolden psycho's journey back to his hometown is going to be marked by a similar bloodshed. And thanks to Luther's razor sharp metal teeth, it's more than pound. It's to be more than poultry that's torn asunder. Filled with intensity and boasting one of the most unique villains in horror history, Luther the Geek received rave reviews from the likes of Gorson and Fangoria upon its original release, but with distributors issues hindering its theatrical run, but it's hindering its theatrical run. It's only now that they've twisted the tail of rooster obsessed reprobate can finally be enjoyed here in the UK. No. Okay, so right, I've been watching this tonight. Okay, right. At the beginning of the film, right, you see like these people watching this guy in this cage. It's like at first it looks like a barn, but this guy's like locked up in this cage, right? And one guy like throws this chicken in in with him, right? And of course he bites the head of a chicken. Of course, there's one part in the film in that scene, right, where this kid is like watching it, but then he bumps someone that knocks him over and it hits his face on something. And of course, knocks some of his teeth out. Of course, that is what changes. That's what makes him who he is. Because when he sees that, it affects him later on in the film. Later on in life, becomes like an incarnation of that character of the guy and he becomes that character. The kid grows up to be that character. And then the film fast forwards years later, because the film was set in at the beginning it's like 1938. Then the film goes like the present day. Of course, the Luther is like released on parole, of course, which is stupid because when he is released, it doesn't take long for that him to go out and start killing people. I can't. To be honest, I was sitting there. Why the hell did he let him out for? If he's that unstable, when he's let out, the first person he kills when he's released is this old woman who, because he drops his egg or something, so he bites her neck like a vampire. He just bites it. And of course, he's got his little razor sharp teeth, a bit like Jaws from James Bond. Of course, of course, what he does is he gets into this woman's car who was shopping in this supermarket. Gets into the back of her car. Of course, she drives home with him at the back, of course, and then that's when crazy shit starts happening later in the film. Yeah. So when he does, when she goes home, right. She goes inside. She goes indoors, right? Of course. When she goes back out into the car, the doors open. She's thinking, "What the hell's going off?" And of course, he starts hide out in the barn with the chickens. Of course, he kills one of the chickens. Of course, he's got a finger for chickens. And makes these bark noises all the time. He's a crazy character, but he's quite memorable at the same time. It's really quite creepy. Of course, of course, when the woman, for some reason he starts charging towards the house. Of course, the woman sees him, of course. So anyway, he gets up. Of course, when he attacks her, right, he gets the upper hand on her. Because when he starts running towards the house, he gets into the kitchen, of course, breaks the window, gets into the kitchen, knocks the rat, and takes up and ties her up upstairs. Because then the daughter turns up, played by Stacey Haydock. Wow. All I can say is she's very attractive. Honestly, I've seen her before in films. Right? She was on a film on one of the horror channels on her, and I was like, wow, she's gorgeous, you know, she's really attractive. Of course, she still looks great now, of course, but in what year film was 19? Actually, this film was 1990. I thought it was like 80s, but and wow, she was she's a stunning woman though. I'm like, wow, the daughter's hot, you know. Stacey Haydock, she's a good actress though, pretty and actually attractive, a really attractive and actually a good actress. Of course, actresses now can be like terrible, but at the same time attractive looking. But she's got a lot of both. She's really attractive. She's a good actress at the same time. Very striking looking, that's for sure. Stacey Haydock, very gorgeous. So pretty, gorgeous, and at the same time. So anyway, when the daughter turns on, of course, she has a shower, which I'm not complaining about because she looks great in the shower. He kind of starts tormenting them actually. He starts tormenting the characters. So yeah, there was one part of the film when the sheriff turns up in the film, of course. The geek guy, the Luther's got the boyfriend, of course, and she like talks to the sheriff, of course, doesn't let on that he's actually in the house, and of course he does warn her, but it's too late by then because he's in the house anyway, and he's completely crazy. He hasn't just got a hunger for chicken. He's actually got hunger for human flesh too. So yeah, and it's like I say, he keeps making these wag noises all the time. When the cop turns up, she doesn't really warn him, but there's one part where she goes out and she tries to, oh, you want to drink a coffee or so? Of course he's like, no, of course. And then something happens when she goes back in the house. I don't want to explain it. It's only like 1 hour 20 minutes. It's not like a long film. So what happens when she goes back in the house, and of course when he starts attacking her, like punching her and stuff like that, of course and then the sheriff turns up again in the film. Of course, it's like a kind of cat and mouse thing in this film where Luther goes into the barn and then the sheriff goes after him, of course. And of course, that's a stupid thing. Should have just waited out in the house, Because there is a funny part in this movie where the sheriff calls him a chicken shit. I just thought that was quite funny where he calls him. I thought the last part was quite funny. It made me laugh a bit, that scene. But it's quite violent actually. This film. It's quite nasty. Because there's another part in the film where there's a scuffle between the sheriff and Luther, of course. The sheriff makes a huge mistake by putting his hand right next to Luther's, because there's a part where he bites his fingers off, of course. In fact, of course, it doesn't quite work out for the sheriff later in that part of the film, of course. But yeah, so yeah, the last part I was pretty satisfied with the finale in this film. I was pretty satisfied actually. So yeah. So anyway, what I didn't like about this film, I suppose in a way the film had some like mistakes in it, like you actually saw you see the cameraman. Sometimes you do see the cameraman in the reflection of the car window screen. You see, oh look, I can see the cameraman. There is 3 parts, there's like mistakes like in the film, but it's not like massive big deal. This film you see where you see a reflection of the cameraman. I've seen it a few times, but that's about it really. Apart from that, really enjoyed it. So what I liked about it, that's what I didn't, that's the only thing that bothered me. But it's not a big deal, It's just that a typical film. Sometimes they'll do a certain scene and you can see the reflection of the cameraman, but not a massive deal, Apart from that, I didn't really dislike anything about the film. The death scenes are pretty good. So what I liked about it, great death scenes, and the character in Luther is completely psychotic. It's kind of scary actually if you watch him. Sort of licking his fingers after he's eating. It's just good solid performance from the cast. Good death scenes in it. So yeah, the rating I'm going to give. I'm going to end this review now. Then the review I'm going to give this film. The rating I'm going to give this film is a 4 out of 5 because I give 4 out of 5 because really enjoyed it. Good solid performance, like I said. An enjoyable movie, and Stacey Haydock bonus. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for Luther the Geek. Very good. Check it out, it's really good. So anyway, this is my review of Luther the Geek. I mean, it's one of those horror films I've never seen before. That's other films I've never seen before, horror films. Really enjoyed it. Solid performance, and the hot, attractive daughter in it is a huge bonus, So yeah, so 4 out of 5 for that. Really enjoyed it. It's definitely a little gem you got to check out. So yeah, so if you want to end it right there on that note, and remember to subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, and have a nice weekend. See you later. Bye.